Hey, what's happening guys? I'm Mikahime and welcome back to my channel. If you remember in the last video, we went over how to write your outline and your script and all the things that you need to do after you've developed your idea for your comic, and today we're actually moving on to the next stage. So this is the stage that is right before you're ready to finally draw. So this is going to be your page layouts, your thumbnails. This is what we're going to be talking about today. How to go about that, what to do, some different techniques for it, so some different ideas for your paneling, you know, all sorts of different stuff. I can't possibly go over all of the things that go into making a specific page in this one video because there are a lot of different ways to go about making your pages interesting, and this is more or less just kind of talking about your page layouts. This is for you have an idea for what you want to happen and you are just trying to get it on paper before you actually draw your comic. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. I would like to take a moment before we get into this video to let you guys know that my merch is still available for sale. All of the links to buy my merch is in my pinned tweet, which is linked in the description box down below. Please do feel free to check that out. Any support is super appreciated. So yeah, you can check that out. And besides, you get to take home some super cool merch, from like fan art stuff to original stuff, whatever you want. I have enamel pins, acrylic keychains, whatever you want, fam. I got you. So just go ahead and check that in the description box down below. And without further ado, let's get started. So congratulations, you have finished writing your script and you are ready to work on the page layouts for your final pages for your comic. This, as you see in front of you, is kind of a basic layout thing. This is what I do personally. I usually do this traditionally, and I highly recommend that, so you're not kind of like switching back and forth all the time between your script and your layouts. For the sake of this video and convenience, I'll be doing it digitally as a demonstration. As you can see, this is just a standard 8.5 by 11 canvas, and I have 4 pages on each side. These boxes are pages. Now I do see a lot of people talking about when they're storyboarding, they'll do like their frame boxes, so they will have like character 1 talking and then character 2 responding, and they'll do this thing, which I tried it and it's fine, but personally I feel like it's a waste of time, and that's probably something, a storyboard technique you would use more if you were doing animation, which is not what we're doing. We're making comics, which means that more than visualizing an individual scene, you're visualizing the scene as a whole in pages and how it plays out. So you might as well just skip all of that stuff and go right to the fun part, which is actually laying out your pages. I do this traditionally because it's smaller, and when something is smaller, you are forced to put less detail into it and spend less time on it, and that's something that you're really going to want to do when you're doing your layouts. You do not want to spend a lot of time on your layouts. This is not a final piece. This is just the bare bones idea of what you want your page to look like, because you'll be doing your official pages later. This is just your idea. So as you see, I have 4 pages on each side divided by a line, and I have labeled each page, page 1, 2, 3, 4, and then all the way down to 8, and on the sides, in the side margins over here, I have it notated where that page is in the relation to the actual book itself, because we're going to be thinking in books. Even if you're making a webcomic, it's not as necessary, but I do my pages for books. I make them book size. I think about how they will be portrayed in a book because I want to get my stuff printed, even though I will be posting some of it online as well. So it's always a good idea to make your pages and your paneling and stuff with printing in mind, because it is easier to post a print-ready page online without printing it than it is to post an online webcomic page and try and convert it for printing if you want to print later. So that's just something to think about. If you don't want to do any of that stuff, that's fine. It's all up to you, but this is just kind of how I format things. So this line in the middle is going to separate these 2 sides here. And this is where your information is going to go, your dialogue, descriptions, any adjustments and stuff you need to make. That is going to go in these margins in relation to which page. So we are going to actually reference our completed script that we were working on in the last video, which is still just basic because we weren't going to be going super in depth. This is just kind of the general idea, and I will actually be zooming in on the pages as I'm working on them so you can kind of see what I'm doing at a bigger scale, because you're going to be watching this on a tiny video and you need to be able to see it, even though in real life I don't recommend zooming in, just kind of work with what you have. So we have our script over here, which we're going to open with Mira is running late to school. Okay, so we need to go to page 1 right here. What are we going to do? This is where you're going to be thinking about what kind of panels you want to do. There were a ton of different kinds of paneling, and I highly recommend you use Google Images to look at the paneling in Pages for inspiration, because paneling is, in my opinion, half the battle. Your paneling is going to kind of make or break your story. You can have a really great story with boring paneling and people will get tired of it, and you can have a really good story with amazing paneling and people will be just fully impressed by it. So we're going to kind of see what we can do. So we know that she is running late to school. So how do we want to set the scene? So let's say we want to set the scene with her waking up. So maybe we'll put a panel here and we'll be focused on her in bed. And this is just really basic stuff. We're not going to be going super in detail or anything like that. You can go a little bit more in detail if there's certain details you want to amplify, but in general, you're just kind of doing the basics here. So she's in bed and her clock is here, and let's say she has a window. So, you know, we've kind of set the scene of what this section of her room is. All right, so she's sleeping. So we come over here and let's say that she wakes up, and part of that visual interest is we're going to take this panel off the page over here. We don't have to keep the panels within this box. You are going to have margins, bleed areas, and all of that stuff, which is something that we will discuss in a later video. This is just kind of your ideas, and it's not entirely relevant to what we're doing right now. That is something that will be reserved for your final pages in consideration for that. But right now, we're just going to be focusing on setting the scenes, getting your camera angles, and making your panels look nice. So here we go. We're going to zoom in on her. She's sleeping here. Okay, so we're zooming in, and maybe she's just kind of opening her eyes a little bit. She's got her hair all messy, whatever. All right, so here we go. She's woken up. Here's her clock, and her clock has a time on it. Let's say it's like 6:55, and she was supposed to get up at 6:30. Oh no! All right, so here we go. She's in bed right here, just woken up. We have the sun rays in, whatever. All right, so we are going to notate here that she has just woken up, because this is super, super duper rough. If you are going to have trouble with conveying the exact motion that you want for this, you just write it down right there to the side. That'll just kind of give you the idea of what you're doing, indicate what's going on, and so forth. So let's say that she looks over at her clock, and you know what? Let's do this. Let's make a slanted panel. Since slanted panels kind of, they portray a bit of motion, we're just going to go ahead, and I know that these panels are not perfect, but this is just kind of the ideas that you can run with, and you can perfect them and change them and do whatever. So we're going to put a lot of emphasis on this clock, because this clock is going to incite her to get up. So we're going to put a lot of emphasis on it. Now, we don't really have to add her in the background here. We can go ahead and make this bigger. So say we want to make that bigger. So we're going to put a little note over here, make clock bigger. So it takes up the whole frame. So now she is startled. So, I mean, what's going to happen? She's going to like jolt awake, right? So let's go ahead and have her do that. She's going to jolt awake. Oh my gosh. Ah, I'm late for school. All right, so now she is here, and oh my gosh, oh no, I'm gonna be late, blah, 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 blah. And so here we're gonna put a little dialogue bubble, all right? So she's talking now. So we're gonna put our little dialogue bubble here, and she's all surprised and shocked, and oh my gosh. So we're going to put, now this is how I do it, since this is going to be when you're actually working to scale, which this is incredibly blown up. When you're actually working to scale, this is going to be very, very, very tiny. This is going to look more like that. So there's no way that you can just kind of write in what you want to say in that bubble. So you're going to go over here, and I mark my things with like B1, B2, because it means like bubble 1 or box 1, whatever. Whatever there's going to be text in, I kind of just code like that. And I will just kind of write whatever I want here. And we have, oh no, I'm late for school. So here we've kind of established that. Now we can change the bubble shape, which would probably be wise because this is something that is exciting. We will talk about speech bubbles and stuff in a different video because there are a few different kinds to go through, but say, here's our shocked bubble. Oh no, I'm late for school. That's her little shocked bubble, whatever. So now we're gonna go down here and we are going to make a big panel on the bottom. And she's going to be jumping up out of bed, you know, however you want her emotions to be, whatever. And we have our little speed lines to indicate that she's just kind of jumped out of bed, whatever. And her pillow's here, and she's just kind of in a hurry. For a panel this large, what you're going to want to do is you're probably going to want to just kind of put in those details, like your room details, you know, just kind of things that you don't see in the close-ups. You're just going to kind of focus on here. We're going to just very roughly indicate that this is a room shot, so we're not spending a lot of time on it. You know, her, oh no, I gotta get out of bed now. I have to go and live my life. Alright, so here's just kind of the basic things. So we're showing that it's her room that we're going to be showing in this panel, her getting up. Alright, so we've kind of, this is our basic layout for page 1. So as you can see, we have panels of different shapes, different sizes, different emphasis, whatever. So now we're going to go to the next thing. We're going to go back to our script and we're going to so maybe we don't want to go through the process of her getting ready. Maybe her brushing her teeth isn't exactly riveting, so we don't want to show it, which is totally okay. So we're gonna like time skip over that stuff and we're gonna get to her right to her running to school. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna put some little time skip bubbles here, little time skip boxes. This is something you see a lot in manga. This just kind of indicates a little bit the passage of time. It can be empty, they can be filled, whatever. And for this, I really want to put emphasis on the setting and her running down the street. So we're going to do a large panel up top, and the one thing to keep in mind when you're doing your paneling is that you don't want all of your pages to look the same. If they all look the same, reading it is going to feel really tedious and monotonous, and you really don't want that. You want there to be a lot of visual interest in your panels because this is a very visual medium, so you really want to engage people not just with the artwork itself, but with interesting panels and emphasis. So we're going to be doing that. So say she's running down the street over the sidewalk, and we have, there's a tree over here, whatever, tree. Cool, we have a tree, and she is over here, and maybe we're just going to do a little stick figure kind of thing, and she is running to school. And here's the street, whatever, and we have our sidewalk, and our grass, and maybe there's like a house over here or something. So, you know, we have all of this stuff. We're really setting the scene. But we've established that she's running. We've set the scene for where she is, what she's doing. Then you just play with camera angles a little bit and you just see where you want to go. And maybe she just kind of slides in, right? She just slides into school. Oh no, I'm at the gate. Shh. Whatever, I'm just sliding in. And then like back here, we see like here's the school gates and whatever. We see the school, we see her face, and she's like out of breath and like panting and like just really tired from running all the way to school. Then there we go. So we have kind of we've set the scene here, we have set another action here, and now we have seen her reaction here. And we get down to the bottom panel here, and then we hear like, maybe it's just gonna be the school, right? We're just gonna see the school on the bottom panel, and then we're gonna hear the ring of the bell. So here at the bottom panel is just gonna be the school and what's going on right now. So, which is gonna set up for the next page, what her reaction is and blah, blah, blah. So this is all just visual storytelling right here. We don't have any dialogue to work with. This is just kind of the basic things. So this is kind of how you're going to run your panels and whatnot and your story, and just you need to be thinking about the visuals a lot when you're going through this. So this is basically it. You know, you just write down your rights and lefts so you know kind of where your relation is going to be to your margins, because it kind of changes a little bit which side you lay heavy into and whatnot like that. So this is just basically the kind of thing you do, and practicing with panels and stuff is something that you're gonna get better at the more you do it and the more resources you look at. I am not the best person at paneling. I am really working to get better at it for sure, and that in itself is an entirely separate video. But I hope that this kind of helps you understand what you're going to be doing. And again, it's going to kind of look more like this, and you'll be able to go through this really quickly, and you should be able to easily do, 4 to 8 page layouts a day with you like really thinking about it and focusing on other things at the same time. So, this is really just a quick and easy way to get your idea out and get your camera angle. So just remember that you're thinking like a camera, and that's how you're going to be laying out your stories and adding your emphasis and whatnot. And there's just so many options. This is just a very, very basic example. Typically, I will usually have somewhere between 3 and 6 panels on a page. You can go up to 8, you can do as little as 1, it doesn't matter, it just depends on what you want to do. I find that the sweet spot is really about 4 to 5 panels, personally, but you can do whatever you want. So that's all I got for you today. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or concerns or anything that I didn't explain well enough, or you'd like me to go more in depth on, please do feel free to leave that in the comment section. I love hearing from you guys, and I will try to respond to as many people as I can. If you like my content and you want to be updated every time I post a new video, please do hit that subscribe button and ring that bell. That would be super helpful. That way you'll be updated every time I post a new video. As I said in the beginning of this video, my merch is available for sale in my pinned tweet. Do feel free to check that link in the description box down below. Do it, do it, do it, do it. Buy some cool stuff, okay? Alright, I hope that you like this video, and thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!